Basic resource that guarantees the life of all living beings on the planet. However, its scarcity and pollution cause millions of people to have poor access to this much-needed asset. Humans are the main cause of water pollution, which is triggered in many ways by the dumping of industrial waste, due to temperature rise that causes the alteration of water by reducing the oxygen in its composition, or due to deforestation, which causes sediments and bacteria to appear under the soil and therefore contaminate groundwater. In the same way, the pesticides used in agricultural fields filter through underground channels and reach the consumption networks, and also as a result of accidental spillage of oil. And what are the main consequences of this? Firstly, the disappearance of biodiversity and aquatic ecosystems. Also, humans are harmed by the alteration in the food chain and by contracting illnesses when drinking or using contaminated water. For all this, we must ensure water availability, its sustainable management, and sanitation for all.
My name is Afreen Mahideen. I'm 17 years old, a rising senior at Thomas Jefferson High School for Science and Technology. I am the Chief Public Relations Officer of FPSIS, the Future Problem Solvers International School. I came here hoping to teach people about water conservation and water pollution because the goals of my project are to educate people on global problems and hopefully help them discover ways to creatively solve them and think about them. We'd specifically be coming to the Institute until a few weeks ago, but I'm really glad to have come here and be given the chance to work with all of you. Today specifically, we're talking about water conservation and water pollution, and during this project I'll be assigning homework and other tasks that have these girls research water pollution and different ways to combat the problem. So other ways water can get polluted. Runoff is actually a really big thing, especially with all the factories in this area. So basically soil, nutrients, and other waste gets washed off of into bodies of water. And this usually leads to algae blooms. Do you guys know what that is? Yes? Everyone knows what the algae bloom is? Okay, good. Okay, cool. So algae blooms happen when there's too much nitrogen runoff into a body of water, and it makes the algae grow really fast. And usually what happens in a body of water is fish and other things will eat the algae, and they exist in a nice symbiotic relationship. But when there's an algae bloom that chokes out the light, so all the stuff underneath the algae can't grow. And then when that happens, the whole entire ecosystem just dies. Okay, so algae blooms are really, really, really bad, and they can grow exponentially thanks to runoff. So since the point source is where we know where it's coming from, non-point is you can't attach a tag to runoff. So if a company is dumping waste into a river and they do it say 50 miles upstream, then another company does it 30 miles downstream from that, then by the time the waste gets to the central body of water, it's just all waste. So we don't know where it's coming from, so it's harder to combat. Because we can't, for oil spills, you know which company did it for the most part, so you can go after them and be you can't do this again, here's some fines or whatever. But it's a lot harder to do that with runoff.
Water quality, would it be testing the pH?
Yeah, that'd be one of them. So, well, another one is acid rain. This is a big problem actually, and it's raining. You should probably stay out of the rain because it's usually acid rain. It doesn't burn, but it kind of stings a bit. I felt it in India once or twice. I can do that. I heard acid rain can be, that's really bad acid rain, really bad. I don't know. I know it can make your skin kind of red and irritated. And it can be potentially carcinogenic, but that's a bit of a rare case. So I don't think acid rain really gives you cancer most of the time, but it might sometimes. Anyway, being exposed to it in really long durations is super bad for you. So yeah. And okay, so third one, littering. So littering isn't too much of a problem in America, I think, for rivers. It's a problem, but I think it's worse in some other countries. So, the Sarno River in Italy contains many, many pieces of trash. And this is also a non-point source because we can't go after every person throwing trash in a river.
Is it designated rivers that have trash in them? There's dumping rivers and then there's clean ones, or is every single river has a clean one?
Every single river. Like, it's actually been getting worse in my experience. Like, since I was little, like, the rivers were cleaner, but now they've been getting, like, dirtier and dirtier. So it's interesting to, like, go every year and see that change happen in front of your eyes. Yeah, it's really bad. Yeah, it is interesting. Like, even in developed countries, this problem still exists. So, like, yeah, Italy is, like, fully, yeah, Italy's first world. Italy? No. Italy's fine. They're doing fine, except for their polluted rivers. Yeah. So here's a question for all of you. My message would be, please take this opportunity to learn more about the world around you, and I hope that I can do a good job.